So there will be more. In fact, there is more. So you just have to hold on for a bit. Well, we did reach out. There's so many messages coming through. So here are a few Christmas messages for you.
Merry Christmas as the last thing, and that's why we are making merry here as much as we can and as best as we can. And of course, it's not something that we can do all on our own. I'm not a comedian. I'm not an actor. I'm not a singer. Well, we've listened to a musician. So how about we take you to an actor?
Yes, we will. But we did ask people to send us a message or two.
Oh, yeah. You take the first one. I'm excited about the second one.
What does Christmas mean to you? Well, Maury says, Christmas is all about love. So that's the operative word for Maury.
And
Christmas
this
means
one,
love.
Nomase Omuwadia says, for now, Christmas means stay safe.
Ishola Timothy says, Christmas to me means survive. This year, it means survive.
And Ajayi says, Christmas means reflections to me. It's a season for reflection.
Obidum says, Christmas means light. Wow, interesting. Yeah.
Well, what does Christmas mean to our guests right now in the studio with us? We have a veteran actor in the person of Zach Orji, as well as Saco, the comedian. And he's going to tell us the meaning of his names. But, gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. Christmas means all of those things to me.
No, we're asking for one word.
Love.
Oh, nice.
For me, Christmas means giving. It means giving. I'll send it.
So, Zach, it's a wonderful time. One of the things that intrigues me is that entertainers. Wait a minute. Let me just put it to you straight away. Do entertainers have holidays?
Sorry, entertainers?
Yes, actors, musicians. Do you guys have holidays?
No, we don't.
Wow.
I just returned.
Essential service.
I just came back from Abuja yesterday.
Oh.
I've been filming for quite a while. I finished yesterday, went back to the hotel, packed my things, and started rushing to the airport.
Wow.
I had a 6:15 flight, which was rescheduled for 9 p.m. and rescheduled for 10:30 p.m. I got home around after midnight yesterday.
Okay.
No, day before yesterday.
Okay.
And just spent yesterday running errands for my wife at home. And
sounds like wisdom.
What can I say?
Well, that errand, you really don't have a choice. And it's not something anybody can or is willing to assist you with.
I wish you do, sir. I'm your junior colleague, sir. I run around. As I was coming out, my wife sent me, and she's watching. Babe, I'll deliver the message after. Yeah, she has a way of, especially when she wants me to come back on time. The food is, there's something she can buy by herself, but she just sends me, we don't have egg in the house. And I don't eat egg, but, as a breadwinner, sometimes I don't even have bread to, but
I have to win the egg.
I just have to it's well. So I basically, there's basically no holiday. Sometimes when we travel out of the country to rest, you just realize that some people are even organizing something on your behalf. And then you just say, we knew you were coming. And then they ask you to feature in. And so basically, when I have the opportunity to travel, especially when I land, I want to rest for a while. I want to rest, especially outside Lagos. I want to take my time to rest. I just want to put my phone on flight mode and rest. So kind of.
That rest ambit, as a veteran,
yes,
you talk about it also, they trust the rest element. It really is something that will help anyone, to get better, refresh, and all of that. How easy is it to get the time for that rest?
Well, you have to create the time, because the truth is, when you say everyone wants your attention, you want to do everything, when the person goes, there's a replacement. So when you have the opportunity to rest and for me, it's so funny that, I go to a church that the theme of this year was rest. So we rested a lot. When the team came, my pastor, Reverend Samademi, declared a year of rest. I didn't understand what rest was until this year, when we had the 6 months. I was almost caught up in the UK. I went for a tour, and then just 2 days before the border closed, I came back, and my wife had to put me in the BQ to rest.
How did that feel?
It wasn't okay. You saw it wasn't funny at all. I basically had an event in Scotland, in Glasgow, and from the UK, and I basically, when I came back, my wife told me when I was leaving London, and said, we will quarantine you. You will be in the BQ. The children will know you are back, because once they know you're back, they will come for you. So I was in the BQ. I came back early morning, and I went straight. She had prepared. She had done. There was no mosquito net. She had put everything. She put my bed, and then I was there first day, and I began to do like a flashback. I took a taxi. I took a train. I took a plane. And I was having conversation with the guy. I didn't have face masks. Maybe, at that time, I literally thought I had the COVID-19, because, that's another thing, another mental picture that get people feeling, that gets them so scared. I was there for 4 days. That time I understood rest. I began to listen to a lot of messages. I listened to Bishop Oyedepo. I listened different things, and different imaginations started coming. Until the 5th day, I just told my wife, babe, I'm fine. There was nothing. I took garlic. I put my head inside hot water. In fact, I went through a lot of, it was trauma for me, because my wife would get into the room and she'll sit at the edge and say, how are you feeling today? I said, I'm fine. I said, come close. I said, no, don't worry, just stay there. And then she'll be talking to me. My children will say, Dad, when are you coming? I said, I will soon be home, because literally my children are young, so they can't understand that their father is in a BQ. It's actually the maid room. So I became the maid of honor.
No wonder you run the errands.
I run the errands.
Well, Mr. Orji, for you, how did you adjust? I mean, in light of your job as well, you had to do a lot of shooting, all of this notwithstanding.
Like he said, you have to create the time. If you don't create the time, they will submerge you with work. For example, I had an event to attend in Abriba today.
Oh.
The only thing that stopped the event was that the state government said that event should not hold because of the new wave of COVID. So they've shifted it to another time. So I had to come back home and catch some rest. Actually, I'm alone at home at the moment. My family is cooling off somewhere, but I just felt like staying at home on my own and do a lot of reflection, just sit in the house, laze about. My wife has prepared everything. Whatever I need, I'll just go and pick from the refrigerator. Because I know that once January comes, I'm off again. So let me feel the energy of the home seep inside of me now that I'm here for next 1 week. And I'll just be staying at home, not going anywhere, listening to music, watching television, reflecting, making phone calls and all of that.
Except that we had to drag you out again.
Yeah.
But this year has been very, very interesting. Pandemic and all of that. So how are you as an entertainer, as an actor, able to adjust? And what are those other stories you heard of some of your colleagues who may have been able to cope or not been able to cope, all year long?
Well, you have to take some personal steps to ensure that you enhance your own health, your well-being, because COVID-19 is a scare. Is a scare. When you hear that people die of COVID-19, it really scares you. And when it feels very uncomfortable to wear these masks, you know you have to wear them for your own good. I take a lot of supplements now. I mean, I make sure now that I eat breakfast. Every day before I go anywhere, I make sure I eat breakfast, because as I'm eating the breakfast, I'm taking about 6 different supplements: vitamin D3, fish oil, vitamin C, this and that, to really strengthen my immunity. I stay a lot in the sun. I do a lot of inhalation, just like you said, and I keep to myself. When I'm on location, for example, it is from the hotel straight to the location, take all the necessary precautions. As soon as we are done, I go back to my hotel room. I stay in my hotel till the next day again when I'm going to location. I keep away from every kind of social activities and things like that. It's an adjustment we all have to make because we want to stay alive. Yeah. The irony is that we want to see God, but we don't want to die.
Nice point, like. Well, we'll get more from them in just a moment. Do stay with us.
We have Zach Orji and Saco, the comedian. Wait a minute. The name is Saco.
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 Yes.
Not Saco.
No, anyone. It could be the
It's
maybe
C-O, not
C-A-C-A-C-O. S-A-C-O. Yes,
Oh.
Saco.
And first of all, what's the real name?
Okay,
Saco.
my name. I forgive you, sir. Okay, so my first name is Sunday Ayodele Chukamadu Okundalai. It's actually
That's Saco.
Saco. That's Sunday Ayodele Chukamadu Okundalai.
Chukamadu.
Yes. So I'm an half caste. I'm partly Ondo, partly Delta.
Which half of the cast?
Yeah, I'm mixed race. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So,
Which race are you mixed?
well, heavily raised. Okay, so my dad is from Ondo State. My mother is from
50-50.
He's 50-50. My mom is from Delta State, Ibuzo. Okay. So I speak Yoruba very well. I speak Igbo very well, and I speak in tongues also. But I don't interpret tongues anyway.
Why? Who do you want to interpret?
It's a gift of. It's a different gift. So I speak, and then someone interprets.
So how do you know when somebody is interpreting the?
Well, it tells me what basically I speak. It's an unknown tongue. So that's why I got the name Saco.
What if they give you a non-interpretation?
Well, it's left to them. But my job is just to do, speak,
Somebody else will.
Yeah.
Do you employ people to interpret?
I don't. I see results from the ones that I employ. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's how I got the name Saco, and evolved when I got to University of Ilorin. Evolved to my first boss, MC Mark, called my name Senior Advocate of Comedy. He was going to introduce me on stage, and that's where I started professionally, 1st of October 2005. And then it just evolved from Saco. It was just simply Saco. Because when I found out I wanted to do comedy, I wrote down, I wanted to find out names, or I wanted a name that people can call and remember. And I was just inspired to write down all my names. And then he came out as Saco, and he called it Senior Advocate of Comedy. And I realized that a lot of feedback came from the Senior Advocate of Comedy. I wanted to study law, but since they didn't give me law, I couldn't become a Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I became a Senior Advocate of Comedy. And so I used that name for a long time before
Was there any indication you were going to do this while you were in school?
Yes, there was an indication. In SS2, I began to have this. I used to be a member of the choir, and so during rehearsals, I make them laugh. I make them, and then I started anchoring concerts, and then there were signs. I acted for my school. We became with an organization called Action Health Incorporated, where my school became. I was a lead actor and in Unilag, and then we came out very first in the old school in Lagos, and there was a flair for it. And then I had a friend called Sonny Goodingbe, and that was how influenced me, and it became something that I realized that I enjoyed doing.
Well, since Zach Orji sat down, he's been acting.
Yes.
he's been acting. We can see that he's acting.
Yes.
And I've not been laughing much. So.
No. It's Christmas, and for me, when Sabuchi was talking about his experiences for Christmas, I am excited for Christmas because I remember traveling to the US for the first. Not everyone has the privilege that I had. I had privilege of going to the US for the first time when I was 7. Christmas, I remember Christmas Day. My parents, we were in Washington D.C. I mean, in my dreams, once I sleep, I don't know what happens to you. Once you sleep, you see yourself in different countries, and then sometimes you wake up very tired.
I hope that's not how you went to Scotland.
No, that's how I went to Scotland. It was real. My children are privileged nowadays. Everything is their size. They enjoy the things. I didn't have such privileges where my parents would buy me things in advance. I studied accounting and data processing, and I understood that there was a going concern concept for our parents. They buy you native. Now you wear native, looks smart on you, but those times you wear native, you look like a native doctor, because it was very big. They call it Wabambe. You have to meet it. You can't buy your size. You have to grow into it, and it's a going concern concept that once you wear it, your mother gives you a time that at least for another 5 years you wear this stuff, and then bam, your brother wears it again.
Likewise,
it's a going concern.
shoes.
Yes, likewise shoes. They shuffle the things, and then you grow up,
What do they pack in the shoes?
It's either newspaper or the packing pad. They just pad it, and then you must walk gently because the shoe is usually heavy. They think you have issues with your leg. Is it anything that makes you? We couldn't do Bessie. Once you do Bessie, that's all. That's all. You can't find the shoe. That's why Bessie wasn't. That's all. You can't find the shoe again. And it was a good experience going for me as in a polygamous family. I'm the firstborn, like I shared this morning.
I'm going to come back to that soon. But we'll have our correspondent Terry Kumi. He's in Abuja, and then we're checking out churches. Well, he is in one of those areas. Let's see how they're going on. That protocol, the safety protocol. It's a church. Terry, what's happening where you are?
Well, service has just begun here at the Cathedral Church of the Advent in Abuja, and it's an interesting one because you can clearly see, from what we see, not many parishioners are here today, possibly because of the COVID-19 pandemic, so the physical distancing thing has been observed and not many people are allowed to be at church at this time. But interestingly as well, parishioners are trying to get used to the new protocol for attending church. So Christmas today in the Federal Capital Territory is quite different from what many people are used to. This is the first time that we will be celebrating Christmas in a pandemic. Just behind me, there's a disinfecting tunnel that's been created there for parishioners to go through. It's a different route from what they would normally take to access church. There's an opportunity for them to wash their hands as well and then use the sanitizer where necessary. But the mood in Abuja is quite different. Doesn't look like a celebration anyway. I think it's just in line with the COVID-19 protocol and the realities that we currently face. Interesting times, I must tell you, and nobody wants to be us right now having to work on Christmas Day.
There you go. We'll keep tabs with that and see. So, well, clearly, everyone, you have to just comply and do what you have to do to stay safe. And not just for yourself, for others around you as well.
It's actually a statement of love when you take precautions, and people need to recognize that. So if you refuse to go to a particular place that you usually go at the end of the year, this year, let them know it's for love. You could go ahead and send whatever it is that you wanted to send to them via courier or whatever. Seeing you, use the virtual means. Stay safe and help others to stay safe as well.
Yeah, but if you owe somebody money, you can go and tell them you can't go there. Saco, for instance, they'll hold you. They know you have the money. They say you have to pay.
It's like Zakoji is also agreeing about the shoe padding. And did it happen in your generation as well?
Me. Yeah.
Oh,
it happened to me. A lot.
Tell me, both of you, well, he probably didn't know the first generation iPad. You would know that one. We call it slates.
Slate. I knew about it. I met it.
So we were there before they knew it. It's just the name that he changed.
Oh, you knew it as well.
I knew it. I went to Ikoshi primary school. I went to a public school. Well, in a private environment anyway, so it was public private.
But you might be amazed that the ideas for these things came from things like that.
Yes.
I'd be amazed.
It did.
Because if you look at what the slate represented for people in our time and what it represents now, there's a kind of relationship.
Yeah, because then it was like a status symbol. You had the slate.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't believe this.
Can't believe we're talking about slates.
That's the wrong But Mr. Orji, did you ever think you were going to be acting when you were in school?
I dreamt about it. Well, not your kind of dream. I started going to the cinemas at the age of 12, 13.
Okay.
My father worked with GB Ollivant so many years ago. So he was going from one francophone country to another. And I was born in Gabon, in Libreville. Wow. I started going to the cinemas when we were in Cameroon, watching Lee Van Cleef, John Wayne, those Hollywood greats at the time, the Sean Connery, who just passed away not long ago. I was, sneaking out of the house to go to the cinemas. Whenever I came back, I would go and stand in front of a mirror and try to do what I saw them do in the cinemas, and the kind of voice, inflections and stuff like that. And I started unconsciously, I was grooming myself without knowing it. I did likewise for Chinese films. I did likewise for Indian films, learning how to cry in front of a mirror. And eventually, when I grew up and the opportunity came, it's like I walked into it naturally. But before then, I was in the Dramatic Society in my secondary school. I was the speaker for Senior Debating Society. I wrote short plays. I actually wrote a play that won my school's second position in Anambra State. Anambra State then was Enugu, Anambra, Ebonyi State put together.
Yes.
And what year was that?
Sorry, what year? 1978.
Yeah. Nigeria had 12 states at the time.
That's right. 1978. So that competition that I won for my school got me a pass to be one of the 60 students selected by the French embassy to go on a holiday trip outside the country for 3 weeks, and I was the leader of that trip.
Wow.
So over the years, I have learned to, I speak French, I write, I do movies in French. Actually, my last movie in French was in Conakry, which I directed. I have worked with Tunde Kelani in Benin Republic, did films in French. I've also directed a movie in French in Gabon, Libreville. And
in Nigerian films?
And in Cameroon. No, their own films. They invited me to come and direct for them.
Wouldn't it be a good idea to have Nigerian film in French? Or has it been done already?
Recently, I found out some of our, like when I went to Gabon, I took with me Ufoma Ejenobo. She speaks French sparingly. Another actress that speaks French is Omoni Oboli. Meg Otanwa, Emmanuela Yalogu. I've just found out a number of us who speak French, and we are planning to do some movies in French here, here in Nigeria.
I saw one also, Citation by Kole Afolayan.
Yeah.
It had, it's also bilingual, had English and French. The film is bilingual as well, so yeah.
Okay.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
No, actually, what they do now, a lot of our films are being voiced over in French. So you could see him speaking French in a movie, but he is not the one. It's what they call doublage in French. Voiceover.
Yeah, voiceover. Wow.
So they do voiceovers of a lot of our films. You know, Canal France and all of them. But what we want to start doing now is to start doing movies in French here.
Is this part of what the plan is for the entertainment industry, especially your segment of the entertainment industry next year, among other things?
No, it's a decision myself I have taken.
Okay.
And unconsciously, we've been doing it for a while. Like about 2 years ago, Omoni Oboli invited me to come and do a movie in Kano. And myself and herself, we played a Francophone couple in the movie. And we spoke French, you know, in all our scenes that we did together.
So if you were to project as a veteran in the industry, knowing what has been and what is, what are the things you see for the entertainment industry globally, but especially your own segments in Nigeria? What do you see?
What I would like to see in Nigeria is government coming to terms with the fact that they must engage Nollywood. Because we always look up to Hollywood in a lot of things that we do. And yet, there are a lot of things they've been doing so many years ago that we don't do.
But you know the government recognizes...
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
In the Second World War took place between 1939 and 1945. After the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the US government set up what they call Office of War Information in 1942. The director of that agency, his name was Elmer Davis. He made a statement. He said, the easiest way to inject propaganda into the minds of most people is through the medium of an entertainment picture when they do not know that they are being propagandized. So that Office of War Information, they used posters, they used photographs, they used newspapers, they used movies to change the mindset of people about the movie. About the war, what was going on in the war. They were now the connection between the civilian population and the war front. So they were the ones giving the civilian population information about what was going on in the war, using films, using a whole lot of things, which we've not started doing here. There are a lot of things that government can use the movie industry to do to whitewash, if you like, call it whitewash itself, or to reorient people, making Nigeria look different, not only at home, but also internationally. This is the aspect that I would love to see the government engaging the industry to do. And we've been waiting for them to do that.
Well, the thing now...
The government of the United States actually commissions Hollywood to do certain films. so that they will inject certain propaganda into the minds of people, not only in America, but internationally. It's only in the movies that we see America being invincible in war. But in reality, it is not the same thing. So a whole lot of things. I'd like to see the government engage the industry in throwing light on the tourist destinations we have in Nigeria. For example, we have the Gamshaka Gumi Park in Adamawa State, which is the biggest park in Nigeria. There are about at least 8 of them. That one, you see lions, you see chimpanzees, you see elephants.
So you expect
see
that
the
government will be able
rarest
to,
species of...
government to be able to use movies to do that?
Yes, they can use movies. Stories can be created around these things.
I'm wondering, Saco,
Yeah.
how we'll be able to use that industry or even your industry to fight corruption.
For Saco's own, for instance,
Oh, yes.
I'm just wondering, if he's cracking a joke now, am I going to be thinking, is this propaganda now? How do I do? How do I...
So, well, I think it's possible. Like you rightly said, this is time where we need to sit down and have conversation. Which I know that the government had conversations with entertainers, but it's basically sort of for their own interest. But this time, you put it out and say, this is our idea. This is what we need you to sell. Some actors have even come to say that this is what we did. We supported this person before, but because we see that it's not going the way, what he promised, basically I'm out of it. I kind of agree. And then you asked a question earlier on, what should actors? This is not a time where you need to compete. The best, one of the things I learned this year is the best form of competition is collaboration.
Yeah.
The best form of competition is collaboration. You need to collaborate with people, and collaboration will go a long way. What would have taken you 2 years to accomplish, with the wealth of experience of other people.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
We have been able to sell Nigerian architecture through our movies. I traveled to Gambia, I traveled to different African countries, and they want a Nigerian architect to design some of those houses they see in our movies.
Yes, even the music.
Yes, even the music.
They take a lot of producers here outside to just, especially African countries.
How about the jokes?
Yes,
even the jokes.
Even the jokes. If you go on YouTube,
the jokes, the music. Go to Liberia now. Go to Sierra Leone. You see them cracking Nigerian jokes.
Doing comparisons. Because comparison is what works for Africans. You compare what you have here. Compare my first trip to the UK, I realized that the transport system is quite different from ours. There are 4 alternative routes going anywhere. You Google TFL journey plan and it gives you more than 4 alternatives. You're excited that you miss away in London. Oh. But in Nigeria, you only have 2 alternatives. You turn mainland and the crow. Once it's blocked, there's nothing you can do about it. You're stuck. It's either you park your car and take a bike. You miss away in London, explain, I'm going to Woolly Shasna. The way they talk to you is, like, you're going to Woolly Shasna? In there. You'll be happy. You say, yeah, you need to connect to the GB line or the DLR. You'll be happy. See the bus stop. Well, you come here.
We're getting there as well.
You just ask me from Maryland, I'm going to Civic Center. The person has Civic. Civic Center. I've had that name before. Civic. We will now start telling you the one in 1976. I did civics education. What concern me? But the one that you will miss is when you go to Oyo, Ibadan. You'll miss your way in Oyo. The Lord is your strength. Because they panic for, okay, not everyone. Some of them panic for a living. Just, I missed my turn. I was supposed to go to Ring Road Challenge, and I went straight to Iwo Road. And I had this gentleman, Emma Binosamon, Losi Jogo. The guy shouted, yeah! I said, Kilode, he said, me, Omobe, I don't know the place. I said, why you should say it's paining me, you have lost. I said, you will lose, sir. He won't let me. So I asked this last person, I said, Jogo. Say, Jogo, Jogo. He just started calling. You know they can call. Fatai, Boni Jogo. Where you did? So he told me to park. So he parked me there. He started asking me a question. Ibo Letimbo, where are you coming from? I said Lagos. So Lagos is far. So he told me, Emanis. When your Obama started saying Emanis, you have to be patient. Just know that you have to be patient. He told me, look up. Then he raised his hand. He said, brother. I said, where are we going? Say, my Lord. Every Opoko, you will see one pillar. Don't pass there. I said, God, no. I said, bro, no. So I had to take him there, and I gave him transfer fare to come back. It's exciting when you miss away. Because even Google Map now, one day I frustrated.
It has happened to me a number of times.
I frustrated.
I've had to ask ask somebody, please get into the car, take me there.
Yes, I
Most times that's what they want.
Yes, that's what they want. So you tip them.
Because they know you give them.
Yeah, and then when I take them, I start conversing with them so they don't just kidnap. I say, Sherry, this life, there's nobody that cannot lose. He say, Momo. So I'll just drop it. Google, I frustrated. Google Map took me one day, took me somewhere else. So the next time I said, Google, I will deal with you. So I typed an address that wasn't going. I knew where I was going. I started going. I said,
Google
you have
tell you
missed
sometimes that
you. I said, you will not. You don't know anything. He said, you need to turn. I said, no. All of a sudden, you just spoke your back. You know, Shein gone. Kini gone. I said, so you can speak your back. I can't keep myself.
Oh dear.
So I like the fact that, and Zach, this is for you. I like the fact that you, just as you said, two languages come into Nollywood and all now. But there is something that is very strong in a country like India. They literally inundate the world with their language and culture in the movies. Same with the Chinese, same with the Koreans. How well are we doing in that department?
We are doing it in our own way, in a different way. The typical Yoruba filmmaker does films in Yoruba. And they still go a lot of places, even though the subtitles sometimes they are something else.
That's the only...
Please, let's forget the subtitles. At least they are
Subtitles will make you miss your way.
You want to ask how is your mother? That was your mother. That was your own mother. And the mother is still alive. I don't like
that's an effort. Likewise, the typical northern filmmaker does his movies in Hausa language. The typical Igbo filmmaker does his films in Igbo. Do you understand? And then we do films in English, which is necessary. Because how did we start? All of us, we started with films in our native languages. The first film I did was in my native language, was in Igbo. But it was subtitled as far back as 28 years ago. It was subtitled. Then the Igbo filmmakers saw a bigger profit in making films in English. So they reasoned that if we do this film in English, we will be able to appeal to more people and that will make more money. That's how we started doing films in English. We started doing films in English, and then they realized that they were making more money. They just switched over to making films in English, but I don't know how to put it now. Igbo films in English. Yes. That's the way I'll put it, because you still see all of the native mannerisms, everything they are very. It's just that we speak in English, and then the English some of us speak, you cannot even understand. You need to subtitle for people to understand what they're saying.
Give us an example of that kind of English that you've seen. Little intelligible.
When he annoyed me and I majored him.
How do you transcribe?
So when you hear that in a movie and you are not a Nigerian, in fact you are not an Igbo person, how can you understand?
No. Let's move on with this program. It's all right. What?
Na Kailie, take three. The typical person from another country will not understand. So you need to subtitle these things, or you need to voice them over so that other people will understand. But one thing is very certain, we have used it to colonize the rest of the world.
Yes. I asked because of that colonization that you talked about, because when people watch Indian films, some people actually learned basic, foreign languages through those movies.
Yeah, even some of our own Nigerians living in the diaspora, it's through our movies that they learn certain words.
But we need to improve on that subtitling.
Yes, we need to.
What do we need?
You see, the typical Nigerian now say Namaste is from Indian movies that they learned all of that.
Yes.
Okay, so do we also begin to translate comedy?
It's already been translated. It's already been. The movies, and then YouTube has made it very easy. There's a level where you get monetized, and then if you don't translate it, they do the translation for you.
Let me say one thing. There is an aspect of tourism that we are not seeing. Again, government needs to engage the industry. What is tourism? Tourism is leaving your place of abode to go to another place, to go and spend money. You go to another place for recreation, for leisure, for pleasure, and then while you go there, you engage in the provision of economic activities, goods and services. You understand? And while you're doing that, you spend money. But why would you want to go to Canada? Probably to see Niagara Falls. Because a trip to Canada without going to Niagara Falls is not complete. Yet we have
many sites here.
We have about 10 amazing falls in Nigeria here,
including a hanging lake.
Good. I have not seen any government that has added value, because if you go to Niagara Falls, I went to Niagara Falls when I went to Canada. You will see that value has been added around it. There are 5-star hotels there. There are entertainment centers.
I think the point is taken now, and I want to sincerely, because I feel like you're already beginning to yab me as a Nigerian. But thank you very much for being here this morning. Saco Orji is a veteran actor, and want to thank you very much for your thoughts and your perspectives to the issues this morning, especially that part about engaging government. And Saco,
the full name.
What? Huh?
I thought you were going to call the full meaning.
I'm trying to look for it. I don't know what to call it, whether it's Saco the comedian or just Saco the guy.
If you add DIA, you are the Ghanaian singer.
Saco D.
And then if you add BI, that's Saco B.
Oh, Saco B, yes, I know.
So, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
Really
so we're back in a moment. Do stay with us.